In that game, Ian Happ got the Cubs started with a three-run blast as he continues his hot streak, which is good to see from him. And after he put the Cubs up 3-0, Shota Imanaga entered the game in the bottom of the first and promptly gave up a 3-run homer to former Cub Nelson Velasquez. Shota ended up giving up two more home runs before he was pulled. Then Ethan Roberts came in and got through the rest of the sixth and the seventh. Phil Maton came in the eighth and gave up a run. And then Hobie Milner came in for the final third inning for no hits, runs, walks, or Ks. This was not a great game pitching-wise for the Cubs. Now, their hitting was solid. Ian Happ had that 3-run homer. Michael Busch got a base single, RBI single, sorry. And then in the top of the ninth, he had another RBI ground out to make it a one-run game, as he continues his hot streak as well. The problem, though, was not the hitting, as putting up 5 runs should net you the win, right? But the Cubs pitching just could not get the job done. Shota Imanaga in 5.1 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 5 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. 3 out of those 5 earned runs, he gave up 3 home runs. I feel like part of this was on Craig Counsell for not pulling him earlier in the game, like what Ollie Marmol did early in the game, as when the Cardinals starter was struggling early, he was pulled to mitigate the damage. Craig Counsell didn't do the same, and the Cubs were penalized for that. And then the by far worst decision of the night was in the 8th inning in a 1-run game, putting in Phil Maton, who has been the Cubs' worst pitcher so far, besides maybe Corbin Martin. Phil Maton in 2/3 innings pitched gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 1 K, as he has an ERA of 7.64. Not good to see from a guy that you're paying $7 million a year. As one of their highest paid relievers, in fact, he might be their highest paid reliever. He's no more than a good mop-up guy, I would say, unfortunately. And he should not be put in those close 8th inning roles. Had Craig Counsell been smart and put in a different and more competent pitcher, the Cubs likely wouldn't have given up a run, allowing them to have tied it in the 9th instead of making it a 1-run game, and then we could have gone to extras. So this was just really a combination of bad managerial decisions and pitching as the Cubs lost 5-6. However, the second game went a whole lot better. Cubs won. Actually, I'm not going to tell you the score. I'm just going to give you a little story. It was a great night. Benjamin Brown is the best pitcher on the Cubs so far. I can't believe I'm saying this. He has been their breakout star. A star, I would say. If he keeps this up, he might go to the All-Star game. And right now, he is definitely the team's ace. Who thought we would be saying that after last year? Let's just talk about the pitching first before we get to the hitting. Now, the hitting was also good, but the pitching absolutely shined. Ben Brown, in 7 innings tossed, only gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and threw 6 Ks. That's unbelievable, and you've got to tip your cap to Brown. He has an ERA now of 1.92. Does he need to enter in the Cy Young conversation? He might. Jacob Webb came in the 8th inning and did a scoreless 1. He's had a nice bounce back after his rough start. And then Daniel Palencia closed it out with a solid inning. Unbelievable from Ben Brown here. I was watching the entire game, and he was dominant the entire time. Okay, time to talk about the hitting now. Pete Crow Armstrong and Ben Brown, the 2 stars of the game, and I can't really give if I was giving a player of the game award, which I probably should do from now on. I don't know who I would go to because PCA had a homer and 4 hits, while Ben Brown tossed 7 innings of 1-run ball. However, because the Cubs still would have won even without PCA, I'm going to give this Basey player of the game, we're doing that now, to Ben Brown. But anyway, that does not disregard the monster night PCA had. He went 4 for 5 with a single, double, homer, and another single. One triple short of the cycle. PCA hit a monster 444-foot blast in the 8th, right into the tarps off section of the Cardinals Stadium, where the fan caught it and was immediately told by his other hooligans to throw it back. He tried to throw it back and made one of the worst throws I've ever seen. I think, honestly, my 5-year-old neighbor could do a better job than that. Oh, it was awful. You should watch it yourself. So anyway, the offense just exploded. The Cubs didn't get started actually until the 5th inning. They're a bit of a late bloomer, but it turned out to be good for them on the offensive department. Michael Busch had an RBI single, again, still hot and driving in lots of runs. Nico Horner, who's been really struggling and had a rough May, got a nice base hit, bringing a run. Michael Busch hit a sac fly. PCA had his monster homer. Ehap scored on a wild pitch, and then PCA drove in another run. So the Cubs finished with a 6-1 win. Oh, I didn't even talk about the defense. The Cubs defense in the bottom of the 9th was great. Now, even though the game was probably over anyway, defense really shone. With one runner at first and one out, the Cardinals man hit a line drive to right field for a base hit. The runner rounded second and headed for third, and Seiya Suzuki picked it up and fired a precise one-hop strike to third for the out. It was unbelievable. The second and final great play made in that 9th inning was with 2 outs and a runner at first. There was a line drive hit into left center field. PCA came out of nowhere and robbed him of extra bases with a snazzy sliding catch. And that was just a great way to end the game as the Cubs finished with a 6-1 win. The third game did not go as well. The Cubs offense, I would talk about it, but there really isn't much to talk about. Besides one solo Alex Bregman homer, that was all the Cubs got, and they lost 5-1. Jordan Wicks really struggled as he gave up in 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 K, and no walks. Now, Craig Counsell had said it was a bullpen day, but I'm sure they wanted it to go farther than this. Ethan Roberts was forced to come in early then, threw 1 inning and gave up 2 runs. Trent Thornton, Phil Maton, and Ryan Rollison did the next 5 innings, all pitching scoreless ball, but really doesn't matter how bad Jordan Wicks and Ethan Roberts were because, well, you can't win. You don't win many games when you only score 1 run. Overall, the Cubs lost the series. It's a series they definitely should have won. Third game, I would have been fine with them losing if they had just won the first, but losing that first game was honestly unacceptable. However, tomorrow, as this is a much-needed off day for the Cubs, we're really struggling right now. Tomorrow at 7:05 p.m., the Cubs take on a series against the Athletics. Athletics are a okay team, now they are in the AL Central, which has been pretty bad so far, dominated by the White Sox, and that's when you know it's not a great division there. Tomorrow it'll be Gage Jump versus J-Mo. Gage Jump so far has a 7.2 ERA, a whip of 2, 5 innings pitched, 9 hits given up, only 5 Ks, 1 walk, and no home runs given up. So he's a new guy, but hopefully the Cubs can take advantage. J-Mo, meanwhile, has a 5.37 ERA, 1.28 whip, in 60.1 innings pitched. He's given up 57 hits and 20 walks and 19 home runs and gotten 51 Ks. Now, J-Mo's actually been solid for the Cubs this year, and I really can't complain about him too much because as long as he's just mediocre to solid, that's okay because J-Mo is their number 5 starter, and your number 5 starter doesn't really need to be all that good. However, home runs have been a problem for him and Shota Imanaga, as the Cubs are one of the heaviest home run giving up teams in the league, and that's That's not a good thing to have, stat to have, of course. And JMO and Shota Imanaga are the two main culprits here. Hopefully they can have a little better of a start. Now, what are changes that can be made to help fix this Cubs team? Because right now their offense is inconsistent at best, and their pitching has been floundered. Now, the thing with the pitching is they really can't do much about it because they're really banged up. Edward Cabrera will be back sometime this month, but he's hurt. Matthew Boyd is hurt. Now, he tossed 4 innings in a rehab stint at Iowa. It sounds like he'll get one more and then can hopefully come back to the team. They're going to need him back, though, so they can get Jordan Wicks off this team because he's not been good. And then, of course, you need Justin Steele back sometime this year if you want. In my opinion, you need Steele back at some capacity if you want to be successful in this playoff, especially without Horton. You really need him. Injuries are just really hampering the Cubs right now. Now, the relievers aren't really banged up, and they've still been good, Even the only guy that they really have hurt are Riley Martin and Hunter Harvey. And once Riley Martin comes back, that'll be a huge boost to the pen. But the offense is a main problem here. Besides the starting pitching, there's not much you can do. Jackson Wiggins is hurt, and there's no one really good enough down in Iowa that you could bring up. Shota's been struggling. Ben Brown has been your ace and been amazing. That's it. J-Mo's been solid. Ray has been solid. Wicks has been awful. Shota's been, struggling again, like I said. Their offense, there are changes that can be made to that. For example, Dansby Swanson needs a day off. He's been batting around 180, which is unacceptable. Even though he is a 9-hole hitter and is an amazing defender, he needs to hit at least over 200. At least 200. I would be willing to forgive him if that was what he was hitting. But if he can't even hit 200, something is wrong. He needs a day to sit. Give Pedro Ramirez a chance to play. I don't understand why the Cubs called up 2 of their top prospects, Kevin Alcantara and Pedro Ramirez, and then proceeded to never play them at all. Why wouldn't you rather just play them down at Iowa to get better and acquire more trade value? And then instead, you could just call up proven veterans like Chas McCormick or Owen Miller, who could be solid bench bats for your team and aren't really going to be trade targets, Pedro Ramirez needs to play more. He's barely played at all. Kevin Alcantara has barely played. Now he got to start against St. Louis. Game 3, got a hit. That's good to see. He was playing DH, and in my opinion, since the Athletics are starting a lefty tomorrow night, I would play him again at DH. I like Mo Bauer, and I think that he can become amazing. He has Schwarber potential. But the thing is, he's been really struggling. I believe he was batted under 100 in the month of May, which is unacceptable. He either needs to be sent down to Iowa or sat down for someone else to DH, like Michael Conforto or Kevin Alcantara. Against lefties, I think you should play Kevin Alcantara at DH. He's got a high power, but high strikeout bat. But you need to see how he is, and the better he is, it shows you, A, either he can be a proven starter for next year in case Ian Happ or, say, Suzuki walk in free agency, or B, teams see how well he's doing and want to make a trade for him. Deal a pitcher like Sandy Alcantara or Robbie Ray to the Cubs. Dansby Swanson, again, needs a day off. Besides that, unfortunately, there's not much you can do. If you're Jed Hoyer, you can't do anything right now. There's not really any free agents to sign. It's too early to make trades. You just have to sit this one through. Hopefully, once you get Matt Shaw, Riley Martin back, and give Dansby a day off, maybe the offense and the pitching can be better. But for now, while I am concerned about this team, which I did post a poll of, please answer that. While I am concerned about this team, I think they will get better. I think they're still going to make the playoffs. I'm not too worried right now. All right, that's all for today. Sorry, my voice sounded a little weird. I'm a little under the weather. But anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for listening to another episode of Basey Brings Cubs. Please like and subscribe. Just starting out trying to grow my channel. All right, I appreciate it, and we will see you in the near future. See ya.